We are back in the Caribbean and, in my opinion, the most beautiful island in the world, Saint Lucia. Whether you come here as a couple, backpacker, or with the whole family, you will love this island. There is just something for everyone here. We spent 3 weeks here and are still not tired of this paradise. In this video, I show you what you must absolutely see when you are here for the first time. We are avid travelers and have been traveling full-time for almost 8 years. In this time, we have visited over 70 countries and never get tired of discovering new places. And even if we have seen a lot, we must admit that Saint Lucia is something very special. The gigantic pitons that rise out of the sea, the lush green mountains, the countless waterfalls and bays make this isle and the perfect getaway for those seeking paradise. And although we have been to Saint Lucia twice before, there are always new places to discover. For example, the breathtaking diamond waterfalls, which you should definitely visit when you are here for the first time. Let us know in the comments if you have ever been to Saint Lucia, or if this video inspires you to book your next trip here. As always, all the information you need to plan your trip can be found in the video description below. And now let's go to Saint Lucia. The flight from Germany to Saint Lucia takes around 9 hours and usually includes a stopover in one of the major cities. Since we were on the neighboring island of Martinique a few days earlier, we flew directly from Fort-de-France to Castries. This flight took only about 30 minutes and was really a scenic flight. But unfortunately, it was very cloudy, so we couldn't see much of Saint Lucia. So as soon as we landed in Castries, we asked the locals for the best spot to watch the sunset. They immediately told us that we had to go to the Diamond Botanical Gardens. This garden offers a spectacular view of the Pitons and is therefore the perfect spot for a romantic dinner. It was actually quite expensive to get in, but since we were such a nice couple, we managed to get in for free. However, I wouldn't pay for it because the view is really great, but I would rather spend this money on one of the many restaurants in Soufrière. The next day, we decided to head straight to the south of the island to stay in Soufrière for a few days. We booked an Airbnb right in the center and were able to park our rental car directly in front of the house. I recommend renting a car in Saint Lucia because it is simply the easiest way to get around. And although it may seem like the roads are very narrow and winding at first, we quickly got used to it and explored the entire island without any problems. By the way, if you want to rent a car in advance, you will find a link to our rental car in the video description. When we arrived in Soufrière, we left our luggage in the accommodation and headed straight to one of the island's highlights, the famous sulfur springs. Here you can enjoy a walk through the healing mud baths and afterwards refresh yourself in one of the natural pools. It feels very good for the body and soul and is also said to have healing powers. Afterwards, we walked a little further out the hill and had a delicious lunch with a fantastic view of the entire bay. The next day, we got up early and went to the famous Paul Nature Trail. This hiking trail offers a fantastic view of the two Pitons and most of the south coast. The hike itself is not very strenuous, but rather leisurely. You walk along a well-paved path, sometimes through the forest and sometimes over open areas from which you can marvel at the beautiful view. At the end of the hike, you will be rewarded with a breathtaking panorama and can enjoy the view of the Pitons up close. At this point, I would like to point out that the entrance fee is around $8 per person and you should definitely bring some cash with you. Once you have enjoyed the magnificent view, you should continue on the marked path. This leads you past some old tree houses to a secluded viewpoint. In my opinion, this is one of the most beautiful spots on the entire island and offers an unparalleled view of the Pitons. If you don't feel like hiking to treetop, you can take a taxi from Soufrière to the beginning of the hike. Then we drove back towards Castries and stopped at the onset Chastanet Beach. The fine white sand and the turquoise water make this beach one of the most beautiful in Saint Lucia, and yet it is not as crowded as one might expect. In fact, the beach consists of 2 parts. From the main road, you first reach the outer part, which is lined with numerous beach bars and restaurants. If you walk along the beach in the direction of the sunset, you will reach the quieter inner part after about 20 minutes. And while you can rent sun loungers and umbrellas on the outer part, this is not possible on the inner part. So remember to bring some shade with you. Another tip, bring some cash with you. On the one hand, there are no toilets and changing rooms here, but on the other hand, you can buy delicious food and drinks from the vendors on the beach. A refreshing coconut costs $5 and a lobster $20. From Onsetchasen, we drove a little further north to Sugar Beach. This beach is located between two of the island's most luxurious resorts and is easily accessible via a dirt road. There is also a small parking lot where you can leave your car for a small fee. What makes this beach unique is the fact that it is surrounded by an old sugar plantation. This gives the beach a very special flair and at the same time protects it from mass tourism. The beach itself is around 100 meters wide and covered with fine white sand. The water is crystal clear and invites you to swim and snorkel. To relax, you can rent a sun lounger and umbrella from the adjacent hotels. In the evening, the beach offers a unique atmosphere thanks to the numerous restaurants and bars. Before we headed to the East Coast the next day, we stopped by the Jalousie Plantation Beach. We parked our rental car in the parking lot of the Jalousie Plantation Resort, which we later found out was free of charge. Then we walked along the wooden walkway over the stream until we reached the beach. Even though we were already at the beach in the late afternoon, we were amazed by the beauty of this place. If you are lucky, you will see some turtles here, which lay their eggs on this beach at night. Unfortunately, we were not so lucky and did not see any turtles during our stay. For the rest of our stay, we wanted to explore the East Coast, and for this purpose, we drove along the West Coast to Dennery. The road leads along the coast and offers a beautiful view of the Caribbean Sea. Along the route you will pass several bays and beaches, which are mostly only reachable on foot. So if you want to take a little detour, I can highly recommend this. From Dennery, we drove to the northeast of the island to Onsetchasen, where we had booked a small bungalow directly on the beach. Since we had rented a small car, we could drive almost all the way to the beach. Only at the end we had to carry our luggage about 100 meters on foot. The owner of the bungalow was waiting for us and welcomed us warmly. He also gave us some tips on what to do on the island and how to get there. The bungalow was simple, but had everything we needed for a comfortable stay. It also had its own kitchen, bedroom, and a large terrace from which you had a fantastic view of the sea. After we had settled in, we went to the nearby restaurant for lunch. Afterwards, we relaxed on the beach for a while before we took a refreshing dip in the ocean. During our stay on the East Coast, we explored the beautiful beaches and bays in the area. One of the most beautiful beaches we found near the fishing village of Saint Lucia. The beach is located between a luxury resort and a small fishing harbor. This gives the beach a very special flair and at the same time protects it from mass tourism. You can relax on the fine white sand or stroll along the wooden walkways that lead you over the stream to the beach. Snorkeling and diving enthusiasts will get their money's worth here, as the water is teeming with colorful fish and other marine life. Of course, you can also rent a kayak or paddleboard and explore the coast from the water. On the second day on the East Coast, we decided to visit the Maria Islands. These two islands are located about 20 minutes by boat from the coast and are home to a large colony of frigate birds. You can book a boat trip directly from the coast, or if you have your own boat, you can also moor there. After our trip to the Maria Islands, we decided to spend our last days in Saint Lucia in the north of the island. We booked an all-inclusive resort here, which offered us the opportunity to relax after the adventurous weeks. We stayed at the Ladera Resort, which is known for its unique architecture. All bungalows are open on one side and offer a breathtaking view of the Pitons and the Caribbean Sea. The resort also has several pools, restaurants, and bars. So we spent our last days here relaxing and enjoying the beautiful surroundings. I hope that I could inspire you a bit for the most beautiful island in the world, Saint Lucia. If you have any questions about the island, please write them to me in the comments. And if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and see you next time.